Hi, I'm Erin, and this is week 4 of Communications 101, and we are on chapters 5 through 8 of Speak Up. So chapter 5 is about audience analysis, and it talks about tailoring your message to your audience. And this gives your speech a whole lot more impact because your listeners will be more likely to pay attention, they'll be more attentive, and they also will have a lot more respect for you, and they'll be more open-minded to your message. To tailor your message to your listeners, you'll want to pay attention to what's called situational characteristics. So you can do this beforehand and think about your audience. Think about the size of your audience. If it's a larger audience, you'll have to make it more of a one-size-fits-all message so that you're not losing anyone and no one's falling through the cracks. Another important element is time. How much time do you have? If you only have a short amount of time, you want to make sure that your message is well condensed so that people will get the most out of it and you get to the point that you're trying to make. Also, pay attention to body clock. So that would mean, like, if you're giving a presentation on a Monday morning, people will likely be more tired and not very focused, so you'll have to maybe come in with a bigger opening to get people's attention. Location is important too. Do you have the sources that you need? Do you have the microphone or the podium or whatever it is that you'll need for your presentation? You also want to pay attention to demographics. What kind of group are you speaking to? What's their age? What's their gender? What's their race? What's their religious beliefs? Knowing things like that will help you to reach them in the best way possible. So once you know those things, you can look to find common ground with them so that you can connect with them and get the message to them clearly in a way that they understand. Also, you want to pay attention to what exposure they have to your topic. What things do they already understand? What things will they have trouble understanding that you can better explain to them? You can also do interviews beforehand and talk to different people and find out what they might want to know about the topic, what they already know, what their thoughts are about different things and things like that. So that's audience analysis. And then selecting your topic. The purpose of your topic is to help focus your message. So one way that you can do this is start by researching. Maybe look through a magazine or newspaper and find out what current events are happening and things that you can address in your speech. You can just start writing down ideas and pick from a list of what you think would be the most interesting to your audience, what things you already have experience in that you can share with the audience. And also, while you're doing this, of course, you'll consider your audience and what they'll want to hear. And after you choose your topic, you'll decide what your purpose is, whether it's informative, persuasive, or marking a special occasion like we've talked about before. So then you have your thesis statement, and it can't be like a whole paragraph. It needs to sum up your whole message in just one sentence. So that is topic. And then you're going to research your speech. Research helps to provide evidence for your message, and it also gives you more credibility as a speaker. And so you'll find your sources at the library, in magazines, newspapers, the internet, You also want to keep track of all your sources so that you can properly credit them. Okay, so using the internet is very helpful, but it can also be tricky because there's a lot of information, so you'll have to take more time to sort through it, and you also have to keep an eye out for people that are just looking to sell things or push their political agenda on people. So you just have to be careful that the sources are objective and that they're people that are experienced in what they're talking about, so that your information is correct and credible. Okay, chapter 8 is using supporting materials for your speech. Okay, so what you do with your supporting materials is build your audience interest in what you're trying to say. So you might want to use pictures or a story to catch their attention. And this gives an example of hooks. This says, imagine that a human brain has many millions of loops. The more hooks you can provide for an idea, the better the chance that an idea will stick in the minds of your audience members. So as many different hooks as you can put in your speech, the better. You can also look at the definitions of words, especially the etymological definitions and the origin. That can be really interesting, and it can also help them to better understand what you're trying to say. Some people are big on numbers, so statistics can also be very helpful. Or telling stories. People always like hearing stories or analogies to help them to remember different points. One thing you want to avoid is long lists, because people are just going to get lost if you just go point after point after point. So keep that in mind. And finally, respect people's time. Make sure that you're maximizing the time that you have and not going over and taking advantage of your power at the pulpit. So that's chapters 5 through 8. Thanks for listening.